She hung from the rooftop, crying out, "If I can't have you, I'll die." Eleanor Donovan knelt and pleaded with me to save her, but what if I told you that this suicide stunt was just the tip of the iceberg of their years of scheming? They drained my savings, falsely accused me of cheating, and now they're eyeing my fortune. Buckle up, see how I turned this whole spectacle into a $3 million venture. My ex-wife jumped from the rooftop to beg for reconciliation. I urged my mother-in-law to join her on the rooftop to force me into reconciliation. My ex-wife climbed onto the rooftop, crying out into the wind, "Alex Miller, what's the point of living without you? I might as well just jump." My ex-wife hung from the railing on the roof like a piece of spoiled cured meat. Eleanor Donovan cried out urgently beside me, "Alex Miller, please tell her to come down." I feigned difficulty. We're not even related, and she won't listen to me. How about this, Eleanor? You go up to the rooftop too. If she doesn't come back after a count of 3, then you jump. Eleanor Donovan froze, processing my words, then spoke in a hushed, pleading voice. "But she wants you. What good would it do for me to go up there?" Watching Eleanor Donovan in tears, I frowned in disgust. If she doesn't even care about her own mom, then why would I want such a disrespectful woman? Besides, why save a useless person who can't even earn a living? My returning to be alive and son-in-law would only happen if she could earn money, Mr. Miller. A stern voice interrupted me. Officer Davies, leading the rescue team, looked completely serious. "Please watch your language. If your words cause her to do anything drastic, you will be held legally responsible." I shrugged. "Is telling the truth against the law, Officer Davies?" Officer Davies seemed exasperated. "Mr. Miller, I don't know what kind of conflict you have with your ex-wife, but this is a life-and-death situation. I hope you'll cooperate with us and persuade her to come down first. Yes, please, yes." Eleanor Donovan pleaded, her face full of desperation. "Alex Miller, please talk to Chloe. Don't let her do anything foolish, even if it's Mom. Eleanor begging you." With that, she directly knelt on the ground and pleaded with me, her forehead bleeding. "Even if you don't love her anymore, please save her for this old woman's sake. She already bought you that $1 million car. Once she's down, you can come home with me and drive it." Eleanor Donovan knelt before me, begging humbly. At the mention of the car, my expression softened slightly. "How do I know you're not lying to me? Don't I know how much money Chloe Donovan has? How could she possibly afford $1 million car?" "It's true," Eleanor Donovan insisted. "To buy you that car, she sold a kidney." I raised an eyebrow slightly, my face barely concealing my excitement, completely indifferent to Chloe Donovan's life or death. "Then transfer the title to my name first. Otherwise, once she's down, what if you go back on your word?" Eleanor Donovan looked troubled. "But the car is at home, and it's a 2-hour round trip. What if Chloe jumps in the meantime?" "Persuade her to come down, and I'll immediately go prepare the transfer documents. If you don't believe me, I can give you a written agreement." "A written agreement?" I scoffed. "The same trick won't fool me twice." I stood up and brushed the dirt off my clothes. "If you two love a spectacle, put on your own show. I'm going to stream. Oh, and tell her to be careful when she jumps. Don't damage my Maserati. I doubt you can afford to replace it." Eleanor Donovan cried out, begging me, but I kicked her away. She fell to the ground, tears streaming down her face, looking utterly miserable. The onlookers finally couldn't take it anymore and began yelling at me, pointing their fingers. "What the hell? What kind of trash is this guy? Even if he's divorced from his ex-wife, he could save a life just by opening his mouth, but he won't even do that. He's just greedy and vain. Isn't that obvious? Making his ex-wife sold a kidney to buy a car, he's completely heartless. He's an influencer with millions of followers, isn't he? Does he even deserve to earn money online? Everyone, report his account. Make him cough up all his money." The police controlled the agitated crowd, blocking my path as I tried to leave, and again asked me to cooperate with their work. I was still hesitating, but Eleanor Donovan suddenly grabbed my leg. "I won't let you provoke my daughter. You've hurt her enough over the years. What more do you want? Before you two divorced, her company went bankrupt, and she was distraught. I told you to go and comfort her, but you told her she was useless and provoked her into cutting her own wrist. Alex Miller, this isn't something that can be solved with a single cut anymore. If she jumps, she will really die. You just told me to die, so promise me, if I die, you won't provoke her, and you'll coax her down. Otherwise, I'll haunt you even after I'm dead." With that, Eleanor Donovan started to run towards a pillar, intending to hit her head. Watching her dramatic display of motherly love, I thought she looked like a comical clown and almost burst out laughing. A bottled water hit me in the face. Half my face instantly swelled up and throbbed with pain. "What's so funny? Do you have any conscience?" If this were your own mom being treated like this, could you just stand there and watch? That's right, young man, your divorce means you weren't meant to be together. But this is a life and death situation. Just consider it an act of kindness, everyone. Let's not worry about other people's business. Who knows what really happened in their marriage? Maybe the woman wronged him too. Hearing this, Eleanor Donovan shouted up at the sky, "Oh, heavens! What sin did I commit?" Alex Miller, I'm also wondering, what did the Donovan family ever do to wrong you? Before you got married, you said you wouldn't marry unless you had a fully paid-for villa. At the time, our family company was on the verge of bankruptcy. We took out the money for Chloe's father's medical treatment to buy you your marital home. As a result, her father died due to delayed treatment. The Donovan family's company also collapsed under your squandered, and besides your marital home, all our family's property was mortgaged. Then you wanted to live alone as a couple, so this old woman immediately moved into the newsstand kiosk downstairs, selling newspapers during the day and sleeping inside at night. You don't like to cook, and I was worried that eating takeout all the time wasn't healthy for you. I also didn't want you to be unhappy seeing me, so every morning at 4, I'd get up to go to the farmer's market to buy the freshest vegetables, then secretly cook in the newsstand kiosk at mealtime, and having to hide from city inspectors. You and Chloe were married for 5 years. We never hit you, never cursed you. We treated you like a young master. I didn't save a single penny from selling newspapers, and I stewed homemade chicken soup for you every day, yet you were constantly throwing tantrums, breaking things, and demanding a divorce. You and Chloe had a relatively amicable separation, and the Donovan family never wronged you, so why do you hate Chloe so much, wishing she would die? Eleanor Donovan sat on the ground, sobbing and sniffling as she accused me. The onlookers completely erupted, accusing me of being heartless and ruthless. Many directly raised their cell phone, saying they would film me and post it online, letting the whole world know my true colors. Someone kicked me. Just as I fell, someone else punched me in the face. Immediately, I tasted blood, and a tooth fell onto the ground. The onlookers immediately panicked. After all, the police were present, and losing another tooth would be considered a severe injury. The police admonished the onlookers not to resort to violence, but from the agitated crowd came shouts of praise. This man is so vile, why shouldn't he be hit? As a live-in son-in-law. His wife's family has sacrificed so much for him, yet he's still not satisfied and wants a divorce. That greedy, vain dog should just die. That's right, Eleanor Donovan is a rare gem. Eleanor Donovan stood by, looking wronged, but I said calmly, Eleanor, why are you looking so wronged? It was you who threatened suicide to make me divorce Chloe Donovan. When I said that, everyone around us froze, looking at Eleanor Donovan in astonishment. Eleanor Donovan froze for a moment, then burst into tears again. You bitch, you, how dare you even bring that up? Oh my God! So he was caught red-handed in an affair. Someone gasped, covering their mouth in surprise. I think that woman on the roof, once she's down, should be told properly. It's one thing for a man to be greedy, but he cheated. What good is he then? The onlookers chattered amongst themselves. Eleanor Donovan gritted her teeth and stood up. Alex Miller, after all this, I've finally seen your true colors. I'll save my daughter myself, but you've caused emotional distress to everyone in our family, and I will sue you to make you pay for it legally. I raised an eyebrow slightly. What makes you think you can demand money from me? Why can't she? A man wearing a mask held up his cell phone, showing it to the people around him. This is Alex Miller's TikTok account. All his videos are about his ex-wife's family. On his homepage, he fabricated rumors about his ex-wife's family, profiting from others' misery, but he's using that money to drive luxury cars and live in mansions. And his ex-wife not only was unaware of any of this, she even sold a kidney to buy him a car. He's living comfortably now, but he's completely ruined his ex-wife's family. Why shouldn't he compensate them? After the man finished speaking, Eleanor Donovan took a deep breath. This old woman is old and will die sooner or later. I only hope my daughter can be healthy and safe. Please, everyone, don't report Alex Miller's account. This old woman, am begging you, if anything happens to him, my poor daughter won't be able to live either. As she spoke, she looked at me again. Alex Miller, Mom won't ask for much more from you. Mom just wants you to give me the watch Chloe's grandfather passed down that was meant for a son-in-law. Since you're divorced, it's not appropriate for you to keep it. I frowned. What watch? Her expression suddenly changed. The watch you were given on your wedding day. That watch was lost ages ago. Eleanor Donovan's eyes widened. She rushed towards me. You threw it away. That was an antique watch, worth $20 million. That belongs to the Donovan family. No matter what, you have to give it back. I chuckled. Old woman. I'm already being gracious by calling you Eleanor. I thought you and Chloe Donovan had such guts, causing a scene 2 hours away in downtown. Aren't you just trying to use the crowd to extort money from me? I, Alex Miller, would rather burn this money and bury it than give a single penny to you and your daughter. $20 million? Pfft, does everything your family owns even add up to $10 million? Eleanor Donovan clutched her chest, looking as if she was about to have a heart attack. The onlookers couldn't take it anymore and cursed at me, but the more they cursed, the more satisfied I felt, as many people raised their cell phone, intending to post what happened today online. I felt it was about time. So many people here today are speaking up for you too. Fine. Then I'll tell everyone the unvarnished truth about my divorce from Chloe Donovan. When I finished, even more people raised their cell phone. The police saw the situation escalating and tried to tell me to stop talking, but I said, I've already taken up public resources. So of course I have to give everyone the truth. I looked completely serious, but Eleanor Donovan's face suddenly turned pale. Eleanor Donovan looked as if she was about to faint. I pinched her philtrum, and the pain made her immediately stand up. Just talk. Don't physically assault an elderly woman. The man wearing the mask continued to speak up for Eleanor Donovan. I didn't indulge him. Did you see me hit her? I was clearly pinching her philtrum to save her. This time, everyone around us saw it clearly, and the man was speechless. But I ripped off his mask. Daniel Reed, did you really think I wouldn't recognize you just because you're wearing a mask? A flicker of panic crossed Daniel Reed's face, but he quickly said, what if you did recognize me? Alex Miller, as a lawyer, I'm warning you. You'd better compensate Chloe Donovan and her mother, or I'll represent them for free. Hearing his righteous pronouncements, I almost died laughing. He was the one who originally urged me to get divorced and told me to abscond with the family money overnight. And now he was the one defending Chloe Donovan and her mother. He was such a double-crossing buddy. I only regretted that I was seeing his true nature now. What? When you helped me with my divorce case, you said, don't let me leave them a single penny. Daniel Reed stammered. My biggest regret is trusting your words and taking on your case. I thought you were wronged in your divorce, but later I found out you simply disliked Chloe Donovan because she couldn't buy you a car or provide you with enough funds to keep up with others. When you didn't get the money promptly, you cheated with his cousin, humiliating him. After Eleanor Donovan discovered you, she demanded a divorce. Even though you were the one at fault, you still insisted that Chloe Donovan left with nothing and took the house her father died for. Looking at Daniel Reed with righteous indignation, I said, since when do lawyers lie through their teeth? The onlookers didn't side with Daniel Reed and attack me. Instead, they urged me to tell the truth about the divorce, whether it was as Eleanor Donovan had said. I pointed my index finger at Chloe Donovan, who was still high up. She's pregnant with your child, and she still wants me to reconcile with her. What were your intentions? My words instantly brought silence to the entire scene. Oh my God, so the woman cheated? No wonder the man wanted a divorce. But didn't the old woman say it was because the man was caught red-handed in an affair? But the woman's pregnant. Maybe the man only sought excitement out of revenge. They looked at Daniel Reed with various expressions. And Daniel Reed's face began to change wildly. Surprisingly, he admitted it in front of everyone. He said through gritted teeth, Chloe is indeed pregnant with my child. But all of this happened after you divorced her. You've been divorced for half a year, and her baby is only 3 months old. A test would easily confirm it. You, Alex Miller, are the one who cheated during the marriage, and now you still want to pin this on Chloe. Daniel Reed spoke logically and with evidence, but I will definitely shed this accusation of marital infidelity today. Seeing Daniel Reed so indignant, I couldn't help but ask, but she's pregnant with your child. Can't you even persuade her to come down from the rooftop? And your original intention was probably to reconcile Chloe Donovan and me, right? Are you really content with being the other man? Daniel Reed, what exactly are you plotting? Holy hell, so this male lawyer is the most disgusting one. Seriously? You, of all people, got her pregnant, and you're not rushing to take responsibility? And you're here trying to reconcile us? Are you trying to have your cake and eat it too? No wonder some cases now are so infuriating. So lawyers are all like this? Revoke his law license. Daniel Reed clearly flustered. His lips moved a few times, but he couldn't say anything, only looking to Eleanor Donovan for help. Eleanor Donovan, who had been sitting on the ground, was also dumbfounded. She glanced at Daniel Reed, then suddenly gritted her teeth fiercely and slapped herself across the face. Everyone froze, watching Eleanor Donovan sitting on the ground, slapping herself repeatedly, the sound echoing loudly. After 7 or 8 slaps, Eleanor Donovan finally stopped, her cheeks swollen and tears and snot streaming down her face. Alex Miller, don't blame Daniel. If you must blame someone, blame me. I wanted a grandson, so I deliberately said my daughter was having psychological issues, so Daniel would go and comfort her. It was also me who pressured Chloe to play the victim and be attentive to him. and this old woman would subtly push them together. Daniel, being young, fell for it after a while. She tried to grab my sleeve, but I quickly dodged, saying with disgust, "Given all this, Eleanor, why don't you just let your daughter be with Daniel Reed? Why bother with reconciliation?" Eleanor Donovan stubbornly changed direction, but she accidentally stumbled and fell to the ground, covered in dust, and burst into tears. I tried to persuade her, but she wouldn't listen. She insists on being with you, threatening to kill herself. What can I do? Pity the Donovan family. This generation only has Chloe as a daughter. That's why we thought of finding a live-in son-in-law. But who would have thought? She suddenly flipped over and stood up, staring at me as if possessed. "I know you've always disliked this old woman, hated me for constantly pressuring you to have children, and now it was my trickery that brought Chloe and Daniel together. Alex Miller, please forgive Chloe. It was wrong of me to expose your affair and cause your divorce. This old woman will atone for her sins to you by dying." She staggered towards the rooftop. Daniel Reed quickly ran over and grabbed her. "Eleanor, don't do this." "Alex Miller!" Daniel Reed, desperately holding on to Eleanor Donovan, shouted at me. "I know you don't want to be responsible for raising a child once Chloe's baby is born. I'll raise it myself. Consider it fulfilling Eleanor's dream. If you want to have your own child, Chloe would even be willing to abort this child. I'll go far away and never appear before you again in this life." Looking at his righteous demeanor, I said softly, "You're so righteous, so noble. As my good buddy, don't you know I'm allergic to chicken soup and suffer from breathing difficulties when I drink it? You like Eleanor so much, don't you know she loved to listen to Chloe Donovan and me sleeping at night and even checked our bed sheets during the day. She even hired a private investigator to follow me and see if I was cheating. Every time Chloe Donovan had her period, she would get a cold look on her face, sigh, and nag that I had wronged our ancestors. Even if I wanted to go out and hide for a couple of days, she would follow me. That wasn't chicken soup. That was blood soup with earthworms added. Not only that, she would secretly add all sorts of home remedies for fertility to my food. If you were eating and suddenly found out there was duck saliva in your bowl, would you drink it happily? Even though I didn't like these actions, I never broke things off with her. But what about her? Every time someone came to buy a newspaper, she would weep and snivel, asking if I had low sperm count, saying that the Donovan family had the worst luck imaginable by taking me in. And your so-called understanding wife would just feign ignorance and let her mother curse at me. As I finished speaking, bit by bit, Daniel Reed and Eleanor Donovan's faces grew increasingly pale. I, on the other hand, felt immense satisfaction from finally venting. Years of pent-up emotions poured out. I no longer had to endure the true colors of this mother and daughter. Eleanor Donovan didn't lie. She truly had been serving me. A year into our marriage, she started making chicken soup for me every day. But these chicken soups weren't for me to drink. They were to boost my fertility, to make it more effective. Eleanor Donovan didn't add salt to the chicken soup, but instead put in all sorts of strange things, unsavory traditional ingredients, and live earthworms. I was forced to drink such disgusting concoctions every day. If I didn't, Eleanor Donovan would start sighing, weeping, and sniffling, nagging that she had no face to see her ancestors, and that my late husband couldn't rest in peace. I'm allergic to chicken soup. The first 2 times, I endured it, pinching my nose as I drank, then rushed to the bathroom to vomit. Eleanor Donovan even accused me of being dramatic and unappreciative, but even after throwing up, I still had difficulty breathing due to the allergy in the middle of the night and had to go to the emergency room. I stayed in the hospital for 3 days. On my first meal back home, Eleanor Donovan brought me chicken soup again, saying it was my fault for throwing up and missing the best time for Chloe Donovan to get pregnant. I looked at Chloe Donovan for help, but she just said, "Mom means well for us. Don't let her good intentions go to waste." Unable to bear it any longer, I threw the soup bowl, caused a huge scene, and insisted on moving out no matter what. In the end, Eleanor Donovan relented and reluctantly rented the newsstand kiosk downstairs. I originally thought Eleanor Donovan had finally respected my wishes, but I didn't expect that she chose to move out only because I stayed at home, and she had a key to come and go freely. She would often sneak home at night, hide outside the door, and eavesdrop. Sometimes, she would even secretly open the door after we fell asleep, lift the covers to feel if my ex-wife and I had been intimate. I was scared half to death by her in the middle of the night. As for her daily rummaging through the trash can to see if we used condoms, and trying every possible way to mobilize all their relatives and even neighbors to pressure me, those were already considered mild in comparison. Ultimately, in her eyes, I was just a tool whose sole purpose was to provide the Donovan family with a precious heir through Chloe Donovan. This is just a normal emotion for an elderly person who wants a grandchild, Daniel Reed stubbornly argued. He then stammered, and Eleanor has already forgiven you for cheating, so why do you keep dwelling on this point? Cheating? I turned to the people around us. Why was Chloe Donovan's cousin in my bed? You should ask Chloe Donovan about that. You? What do you mean? Eleanor Donovan's face turned pale. Daniel Reed, however, spoke before I could. Eleanor, he's twisting the truth again. Chloe loves him so much. How could she do such a thing? She certainly would do such a thing. And you, my former buddy, after getting involved with Chloe Donovan a year ago, actively encouraged me to divorce and helped me with the lawsuit. You claimed I wanted that house, but in reality, you knew perfectly well I never got it, nor could I have. When we got married, their financial situation was more than enough to cover a down payment, but they deliberately used the money for Chloe Donovan's father's medical treatment, wanting to pay for the house in full. Unfortunately, it still wasn't enough, so they borrowed over $500,000 from relatives and friends. The house was premarital property, obtained by Chloe Donovan's father at the cost of his life. And after we got married, she and I repaid the $500,000 loan. Eleanor, didn't you just offer me a written agreement? Back then, you gave me a written agreement saying I owned half of this house. The moment Chloe Donovan and I registered our marriage, you immediately rummaged through everything, found the written agreement, and burned it. I took a deep breath, finally articulating the resentment that had accumulated in my heart for years. Bit by bit, looking at the dumbfounded crowd, I continued, of course I have to use this heartless mother and daughter for my streaming, otherwise, how else would I make money? Daniel Reed, unable to stand the pressure of the scene any longer, broke down and pointed at me, saying, "You're lying. You're slandering me. Don't believe him. Everyone, I'm a lawyer. He's just an unscrupulous male streamer who would do anything for money." But the only response he received was silence and looks of contempt. Daniel Reed grew even more flustered. He instinctively let go, and Eleanor Donovan, caught off guard, fell to the ground. He paid no attention to her, just glared at me. "Alex Miller, I'm going to sue you for defamation. I'll make sure you serve time in prison for a long time." I laughed. Sue me for defamation? Do you have the nerve? Eleanor Donovan, who had fallen to the ground, quickly got up when she saw this. "Alex Miller, why haven't you stopped spouting nonsense? Chloe is pregnant right now. I'm telling you, if you cause any major trouble, harm her emotionally, or if anything happens to my precious grandson, I'll fight you to my dying breath." Watching the way Eleanor Donovan was protecting Daniel Reed, I chuckled. "Eleanor, you don't really think that not having children for all these years was my fault, do you?" "What do you mean?" Eleanor Donovan suddenly froze, and Daniel Reed's face turned pale. "Then I'll tell you why your daughter sent his cousin to my bed." I shrugged, looking at the people around me who were watching the drama unfold, and with a clear conscience, I told them the truth. "During our marriage, your daughter never let me touch her once." "So how did she get pregnant? How? How could that be?" Eleanor Donovan gritted her teeth. "You, this man, are so useless that you can't even touch your own wife." Of course, she wouldn't touch me, because she likes women. When I said that, everyone around us was completely stunned. What the hell? So Alex Miller was tricked into being an unknowing husband of a lesbian. Damn it. We respect that she doesn't like men, but she's so shameless. She actually ruined a perfectly good young man. But isn't Chloe Donovan pregnant now? Eleanor Donovan, who had been frozen in place, seemed to snap back to reality when she heard that. Exactly. My daughter clearly likes men. Otherwise, how could she be pregnant with Daniel's child? You lying man, to find an excuse for your cheating, you're slinging such mud at my daughter. Seeing that they didn't believe me, I had no choice but to present evidence. I directly posted photos of Chloe Donovan kissing another woman on my account's homepage. The online onlookers were quick. They swiftly used that photo to dig up information on the woman Chloe Donovan was kissing. The woman often showed off their affection with Chloe Donovan on her homepage, and there was even a video explicitly stating that the two of them were intimately involved in my master bedroom. Everyone around us was too shocked to speak. Only a faint voice was heard. Chloe Donovan is the passive one. No wonder she doesn't touch men. But why did she have to ruin a man's entire life? That's right, and caused him so much suffering. Thinking of those humiliating days, I naturally gritted my teeth in hatred, but didn't show it. Instead, I looked at Eleanor Donovan. Eleanor, Chloe Donovan doesn't touch men. Whose baby is truly in her belly? That remains to be seen. Eleanor Donovan slapped Daniel Reed across the face with the back of her hand. You scumbag! Ever since you said you'd give me a grandson through Chloe, I gave you my prized gold bracelet. Now tell me, what's really going on with the baby in Chloe's belly? Eleanor, how can you believe this lying man and question me? She used to like women, but she's better now, and she's pregnant with my child. Eleanor Donovan doesn't understand sexual orientation. There's no such thing as getting better from it. She was on the verge of actually believing Daniel Reed. I had no choice but to add, really? I didn't expect Chloe Donovan's polycystic ovary syndrome POCOS to be cured too. When she and I went, the doctor said it was quite severe. I had kept the truth hidden because I loved Chloe Donovan so much and knew she had severe polycystic ovary syndrome POCOS. I didn't want her to be harassed by Eleanor Donovan. Chloe Donovan herself didn't even know she had severe polycystic ovary syndrome (POCOS). But I didn't expect that it would lead to her even more disgusting schemes to have a child and satisfy her mom. She tried every possible way to make me sleep with other women. And afraid that the child wouldn't resemble their family, she schemed to frame me with his cousin, but nothing happened that night. Yet Eleanor Donovan, who was eavesdropping, turned the tables on me. My heart turned to ashes, and I resolutely decided to leave Chloe Donovan. But I didn't expect that Chloe Donovan had already prepared a backup plan. She had gotten involved with Daniel Reed, who was a lawyer, and successfully left me with nothing. After revealing all the truths, Daniel Reed's face turned pale. He clearly hadn't expected Chloe Donovan to also have polycystic ovary syndrome (POCOS). Eleanor Donovan immediately saw that something was off with him. She grabbed his hair with both hands. "You bastard! Tell me now, what's really going on with Chloe's baby? Give me back the gold bracelet my daughter sold a kidney for." Eleanor Donovan accidentally blurted out the truth. Only then did everyone realize how terribly I had been wronged. Even the police were very shocked, but the two involved were still tearing into each other. Daniel Reed, not to be outdone, said, "Old hag, why should I give it to you? Your daughter is useless. I can't deal with her. She wouldn't even let me touch her. How was I supposed to know she had a condition? How dare you hit me? You're not innocent in this either." They started to wrestle. Chloe Donovan, hanging from the railing, quickly reached out to the police, seeking rescue. The firefighters, who were waiting to rescue her, were also a bit surprised, but they quickly brought her down. Chloe Donovan ran towards the two of them. I looked at the police officer beside me. "She's down. Is my task complete?" The police officer froze. This actually worked. I thought Chloe Donovan had come down to break up the fight, but she unexpectedly kicked Daniel Reed in the groin. Daniel Reed cried out in pain, clutching his lower abdomen and curling into a ball. But Chloe Donovan continued to yell, "You scumbag! Who told you to hit my mom? How dare you hit my mom?" Daniel Reed gritted his teeth, too much in pain to utter a word. I had no choice but to explain for him. If he hadn't wanted to have a child with a married woman, he wouldn't have tried to use your womb and make you an unwilling mother. Daniel Reed looked at me with surprise, very curious how I knew. Before I could explain the full story to him, Chloe Donovan climbed onto him and started punching and kicking. The police quickly pulled Chloe Donovan away, but due to her emotional agitation, she lost the baby. The onlookers were shocked, but still curious why Chloe Donovan suddenly went to the rooftop to force a marriage. I said calmly, "Why else?" She found out I suddenly started making money after the divorce. That's right, ever since I left Chloe Donovan, I launched my streaming career and earned $500,000 in 1 month. I quickly invested that $500,000, and as of today, I have nearly $3 million. When Chloe Donovan and Daniel Reed found out I had money, they wanted a cut from me. I looked around and didn't see Chloe Donovan's streaming equipment. I was wondering why when I saw Daniel Reed's colleague. It turned out that Daniel Reed was secretly profiting from this too. However, whether hell lived to spend that money is another question. Chloe Donovan lost the baby, which suited me just fine. After all, a pregnant woman who is sentenced to jail cannot serve time in prison. Before Chloe Donovan was even discharged from the hospital, I directly filed a lawsuit against her. She and Daniel Reed had conspired to frame me for divorce, leaving me with massive debt. I definitely needed to settle scores with her for that. At the same time, Daniel Reed also filed a lawsuit against Chloe Donovan, suing her for intentional assault. I never expected that Daniel Reed and Chloe Donovan had already registered their marriage. Chloe Donovan's appeal was only classified as an accidental domestic violence incident, and she wouldn't be directly sentenced to jail, and through my lawyer, Daniel Reed and Chloe Donovan would likely be sentenced to jail for 3 to 5 years. But on the day of the trial, Daniel Reed didn't show up. Only then did I learn that due to the escalation of this incident, Chloe Donovan's girlfriend suffered cyberbullying and broke up with her. Chloe Donovan was so angry she drank heavily every day, and when drunk, she would beat Daniel Reed. She beat Daniel Reed into the hospital twice within a month. Finally, on the third occasion, Daniel Reed died despite rescue efforts. After sobering up, Chloe Donovan was very scared, but it was useless. She was imprisoned and 3 months later was sentenced to death. As for Eleanor Donovan, she went insane the moment she found out she had given birth to a lesbian daughter. She roamed the streets every day, picking food from trash can when hungry. They originally intended to scheme against me, but they didn't expect this incident to bring me a new wave of online engagement. I directly gained a large following through my decisive and swift self-defense. I joined the ranks of influencer with millions of followers and ended up making a fortune.